Something a bit different today. Another one of my Christmas presents. I got given a two-tone oscillator. This little metal box here is a kit that I've got to build. Once I've built it, it produces a 1600 Hertz and 1850 Hertz tone, and you can feed this in through your rig on sideband, and it allows you to set the modulation envelope to make sure that you're not over modulating when you're chatting on sideband and you're not distorted. Also good when you're running a linear as well. This came from a company called Spectrum Communications. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, so I'm going to do a video on, almost like a review video really. I'm going to build this, see how easy it is, and then I'm going to test it and see how well it works. And then, you know, if you want to buy one, you can buy one. If you don't, you don't. And if it's no good, you will see it on here. Okay, so first thing to do is open the unit up. It's a nice metal case. Certainly that's well made. I think you'd break your foot if you dropped it on there rather than break the case. It's quite thick metal. So we have got some instructions. Put those to one side. So it comes with a battery holder, bag full of components, bag full of switches, LEDs and more switches, and a printed circuit board. Okay, right, let me have a read of the instructions. So we've got introduction, circuit description, PCB assembly, outline of the board, component placing, which resistors, capacitors, miscellaneous, circuit diagram, assembly and test using the unit, waveform analysis, small bits and pieces. This shows you the waveforms the unit produces. So you've got 4 of them here. That's the one you want with a good crossover between the envelopes. That one there, that one there, and that one there. That's flat topping. So I don't know what the others are, but yeah. And you've got spectrum analyzer chart. Well, I haven't got one of those, so that's no good. Oh, and that's handy. And then a nice layout of what it should look like. And then hardware kit, what hardware we've got. And a bit more on the assembly. So, I need to have a look at this and work out how we're going to do this. Now the resistors, I've got 1K, 2.7K, 3.3K, 3.9K, 4.7K, 10K and 27K. Yeah, they're not labelled at all in the bag, so what I'll have to do is look at each of the resistors, work out the banding, and then work out what I've got. The good thing is I know the numbers that I've got, but I don't know what's what. So let's have a go at that. Okay, so I've sorted through the resistors. I've just made some rough notes of the colours and I'll sort them out into groups. So according to the list, I should have one 1K, which I've got, 3 2.7Ks, which I've got, one 3.3K, which I've got, two 3.9Ks, which I've got, 2 4.7Ks, which I've got, 6 10Ks, which I've got, and no 27Ks. I'm missing the two 27Ks. They're not in this bag, and they're not in the bag of the box, which means I've now got to contact the place where she brought it from and ask if they'll send me the 27Ks, because obviously they have forgotten to put them in the kit. So anyway, we'll have to stop the video there. Well, amazingly, I've had the two missing 27K resistors sent, so that was a bit of a surprise. So anyway, now we can start assembling the board. So as we're going to be messing about with some PCBs, I picked this little PCB frame up off of Fleabay. £9.72 delivered. Bargain. And it holds it all for you nicely. Then you can just flip it over, do your soldering, flip it back, put your component in. Great. So right, we'll give that a go. So what it's saying first of all is to put the oh, I've got this round the wrong way. Put it round that way. Put the pins in along the, hang on. Oh, I did have it the right way round. So what it's basically saying first of all is to put the 3 pins in along here and the 3 pins in along here. And then once you've got the pins done, then we do the resistors and diodes. Then the trim pots, and then the polyblock capacitors, followed by the electrolytics, and finally the IC. So we do the pins first. So I'll get soldering. I won't bore you with the soldering. I might show you some stages as we go, but hopefully I'll be back with the finished board. So again, I can use my little resistor forming tool. So you put it in there and just basically bend it down, and one perfectly formed component, which you can then just where's this go, here, slip through the board. And it's a perfect fit. Right, I'll carry on. So it's coming together quite nicely. We've got all the resistors and one diode fitted. It's all soldering up nicely. So the next thing we've got to do is put the 2 trim pots on. So I'll find those, which I think are over here in the bag. Yeah, it looks like that's these black pots here. There's 2 of those to go on, and we'll continue on our way. There's an LM324 IC that fits in the centre of the board here. Now whenever I fit an IC, I always fit an IC socket, because that way you're applying the heat from the soldering iron to the pins of the IC socket, not directly to the IC. Also, if the IC ever fails in the future, you haven't got to desolder it, you can just pop it out and put a new one straight in. So that's what I always do with them. So I would definitely recommend getting some IC sockets if you're going to fit any IC whatsoever. These are a 14 pin dual inline one. They're not expensive. I think they're about £1 something for 5. Then that's the back I've got. They're dip deal sockets, 14 pin, and I've got 5 pieces, so I've always got a few spares, and I've got another project I want to use foam for anyway. But yeah, the board's coming together very nicely, so I've just got to solder this in, then we put the IC in, and I think the board is actually finished. Well, good news. There is the finished board, all nicely soldered up underneath as well. I like this little spinny board. It's actually quite good, these little holding hands. I should do a little unboxing video review on it, really. Right, anyway, let me crack on and we'll get this sorted.